Every morning, just as the sun began to peek over the rooftops of Cedar Grove, a quiet suburban neighborhood, residents could count on one familiar sight: an old man named Mr. Allen, walking his two golden retrievers, Max and Bailey. He wore the same faded denim jacket, a baseball cap pulled low, and always had a slight limp. He never missed a day. Rain, snow, or blazing heat, he was there, strolling slowly past the same houses, giving a polite nod to anyone who waved. Most people thought he was just a lonely man with dogs and a routine, but they were wrong. Kids on bikes would pass him, dogs in yards would bark as he walked by, and neighbors sipping coffee from their porches would greet him with a casual "Morning, Mr. Allen." He always replied with a gentle smile and a simple "Morning, nevermore." No one ever saw him talk to anyone longer than a few seconds. He kept to himself. He seemed harmless, just a quiet old man with well-behaved dogs. But then one morning, a new couple on the block, Rachel and Tom, noticed something strange. While jogging past Mr. Allen, they waved, but he didn't wave back. Instead, he looked directly at them with a sharpness in his eyes they hadn't expected. The smile wasn't there that day. His dogs tugged at the leash, pulling him toward the woods behind the neighborhood. And just like that, he disappeared into the trees. Curious, Rachel slowed down and looked back. "That was odd," she whispered. "He never goes into the woods, right?" Tom shrugged, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Maybe he does. We just haven't noticed." But Rachel felt something off, something she couldn't explain. And that's when she made a decision. Tomorrow she'd follow him, just to see where he goes, just to satisfy the strange pull in her gut that told her Mr. Allen wasn't just walking dogs. The next morning, Rachel woke earlier than usual. She dressed in her running clothes, tied her shoes tight, and slipped out the door before Tom had even stirred. She waited behind a parked SUV across the street, her breath visible in the crisp morning air. Right on time, Mr. Allen appeared, his dogs trotting quietly at his side. He passed her hiding spot without noticing, his eyes focused straight ahead. She followed from a distance, keeping her steps light. At first, he took the usual route down Maple Street, past the park, across the small wooden bridge. But then, just like the day before, he veered off into the woods. Rachel slowed her pace and ducked behind trees, careful not to make noise. The forest was silent except for the sound of crunching leaves beneath Mr. Allen's boots. She watched as he moved deeper into the trees, following a narrow path barely visible under the thick brush. Max and Bailey stayed close, walking with purpose, their ears alert. After 10 minutes of walking, he stopped near a moss-covered boulder. He looked around once, then reached into his jacket and pulled out a small silver key. Rachel squinted, heart pounding. "A key?" "Out here," she whispered. To her shock, Mr. Allen bent down, brushed away dead leaves, and uncovered what looked like a trap door, metal, rusted, and built into the forest floor. Without hesitation, he unlocked it, opened it with a creak, and disappeared underground with both dogs following behind. The door shut behind him. Rachel's mouth dropped open. She rushed forward, crouched near the trap door, and touched the surface. It was real, cold, heavy. She looked around, nobody in sight. Her instincts screamed to leave, but her curiosity was louder. What was down there? And why would a quiet old man need a hidden underground room in the woods? She didn't know it yet, but following Mr. Allen would unravel a secret Cedar Grove had buried for decades. Rachel didn't sleep that night. Her mind kept replaying the image of the trap door and Mr. Allen disappearing underground with his dogs. By morning, she made up her mind she was going back. This time she brought a flashlight, gloves, and a small notebook tucked into her hoodie. As she slipped back into the woods, every sound felt louder. The birds, the wind through the trees, even her own breath. She found the boulder easily. The trap door was still there, perfectly sealed. Her fingers trembled as she lifted it open. To her surprise, the hinges were oiled smooth and silent. Below, a metal staircase led into darkness. She hesitated, then climbed down slowly, one step at a time. The smell was odd, part earthy, part mechanical. Not what she expected at all. At the bottom, she found a narrow corridor lined with lights, tiny LEDs that blinked along the wall. The walls weren't dirt. They were concrete, clean, purpose-built. Rachel's heart raced. She moved deeper. A hum echoed in the distance, low and steady, like a generator. Then she heard voices, faint but real. She crept forward, stopping at a corner where the hallway opened into a large room. Her breath caught. It looked like a command center. Monitors lined the walls, showing satellite images, maps, and scrolling data feeds. Tables held laptops, tools, and stacks of documents. And right there, standing by a screen, was Mr. Allen, except he didn't look like Mr. Allen. He was standing straighter, no limp. The denim jacket was gone, replaced with a dark tactical vest. And he was speaking in clear, sharp military code. Team Echo secure. No surveillance breach. Drone support holding. Phase 2 begins tonight. Max and Bailey were beside him, but even they seemed different, focused, trained, still. Not pets. Partners. Rachel backed away, heart pounding. What was this? Who was Mr. Allen? She turned to leave, but a crunch behind her made her freeze. She wasn't alone anymore. Rachel spun around and found herself face to face with a tall woman dressed in black tactical gear. Her expression was unreadable, but her voice was calm. You're not supposed to be here. Before Rachel could speak, two more figures emerged from the shadows. They didn't point weapons, but their presence alone made it clear this wasn't a place for questions. Mr. Allen's voice echoed from the corridor behind them. Bring her in. The woman nodded and gently motioned for Rachel to follow. No sudden moves, she said, and don't touch anything. Rachel was led into the command room, her heart racing. Mr. Allen turned toward her, his face unreadable. The limp was gone completely now. You're curious, he said plainly. I respect that, but this isn't something you can unsee. She tried to speak, but he raised a hand. I'm not just some old man walking dogs, he continued. I was a signals expert for a covert branch of military intelligence. After retirement, I chose to live here quiet, under the radar. But when a dormant threat reactivated 2 years ago, I was reactivated too. Rachel's eyes darted to the screens. One map had blinking red zones across several states. We monitor certain patterns, Mr. Allen said, digital noise, movements, unregistered communications, the kind most agencies overlook. And when we see them, when the wrong codes surface, we act. And the dogs, Rachel asked finally. He allowed a faint smile. Trained, smarter than most agents I've worked with. They're my field support. She looked around again. Why are you telling me this? Because you're already in. And honestly, he glanced at the screen. We could use someone with guts and instincts. Rachel blinked, stunned. Are you saying you want me to work with you? We don't recruit, but we recognize talent. Outside, the sun had barely risen over Cedar Grove. To the rest of the neighborhood, Mr. Allen would return that morning with Max and Bailey, same as always. But now Rachel knew the truth. And from that day forward, she wouldn't just be watching him, she'd be walking beside him.